Hello everyone. So ever since Galactus got nerfed, he kind of dropped off in popularity. Before the nerf, he was everywhere. It felt like every other game you were playing against Galactus. And then after the nerf, we were in a meta state where we had a lot of really strong, very powerful cards that were being played. And so then a wave was always feeling like a little bit of a liability. And it just didn't feel like the right time for Galactus. Since then, the meta has shifted a little bit. We're seeing a lot more like greedy, hold your stuff till the last turn, skip like the She-Not deck, doing something like Mr. Negative, then hoarding your cards, and you can capitalize on that with the Galactus. Galactus is a little bit harder to trigger now, but with so many games going to turn 7, we have a lot of room to be able to sneak wins in where we wouldn't have been able to otherwise. So even if we need to draw deeper into our deck, we have that opportunity. We can surprise the opponent by ending a game on turn 6 whenever they think it's going to go to turn 7, and just so much valuable things. Thank you, Dera, for giving me the most anxious game I've ever had in my life. If you guys haven't seen that, yesterday's video, the very last match, was a wild ride. Definitely check it out. Highly recommend. But today we're going to be running a Galactus deck, a normal Galactus. We're cutting the Nimrod, we're cutting the Shuri, we're cutting the Fat, and we're going just very heavy onto the Galactus. We have the Death that's a kind of driver for those Spider-Ham hits, hopefully, and then otherwise we do have a lot of other 6-cost cards for that consistency's sake, and I think we can find ways to win with just the straightforward Galactus line, leaning very heavily into the ramp into Doc Ock, into Galactus, the wave into Galactus, into Spider-Man, and just those plays that were very dominant before. I think they are still very prevalent and very dominant today. We're gonna go ahead and jump into a gold conquest. Thank you guys as always for being here. I hope you guys enjoy. All right, first up we got money. We have the money. Ooh, and we start with Galactus. We start with Yondu as well, and we start with Wave. All are beautiful. If we can get maybe a Wolverine would be decent as well. We get their Blue Marvel. Okay, so it could be I was gonna say it could be the Thanos list, but it doesn't look like that is the case. Let's go ahead and snap here. Depending on where they hit, or if they've hit Aunt May's, Galactus will trigger and then he won't get bumped out. So he'll be 10, he'll be within Shang-Chi range. But I think we can still get Aunt May's to trigger. And so we're going to go ahead and snap. Next turn we'll wave. Let's see if money has it in him. Oh, the Invisible Woman, which is an easy target lane for Galactus. But it bounced over into the Quantum Realm. And so I think maybe we're running up against a Patriot deck. Let's go ahead and wave. It could come down to a 50-50, I suppose, of them choosing where they play. Okay, so they have the Conquest, Mr. Sinister. No, is that the Conquest one? I don't know. They have the Mr. Sinister variant nonetheless. Okay, so we have the wave. They can do one card. We can do one card. What do we think? We could always do something like Doc Ock into Spider-Man, have him push to the side, and see if the 7 power from Galactus is enough. That seems kind of risky, though. So does playing Galactus here. They can only do one card, so it comes down to a gut read of the 50-50, and I think we just lean into the Galactus play. I don't think we shy away from it. It's Galactus the next expansion. No, they didn't. 6 is less than 7 unless it hits like a Brood. Beautiful. It hits Patriot. And so we are going to still make them kneel before Galactus. My goodness, that could have hit a lot of things. Maybe they weren't anticipating the Galactus. It is not a super common line anymore. We have the Spider-Man. Next turn, we'll be able to do 19 power null. Or if they do something big here, then we can throw down a Shang-Chi. We should have the easy 2 cubes. We're going to just rinse and repeat. And this version of this Galactus list, that is what it wants to do every single game, is hit them with the Galactus, hit them with the Spider-Man lock, get the retreat, rinse and repeat. That Invisible Woman lane is now always going to be a liability for them, which I love. I love putting just a little grain of doubt in the opponent's mind, because that is where you lead to misplays. And so Vibranium Mine is decent. If we get a ramp component, it's going to be decent for a Galactus. So they skip it on 1. They could have a Killmonger. This could be the version that runs Killmonger like behind the Invisible Woman, but we'll see. They do get the Mr. Sinister down. Ooh, Peak is something. I don't know if it's good or not, but it's something. We have the cheaper Spider-Man. We have the free Null, which is fantastic. So even, I guess we're going to have to at least do Destroyer here, right? We'll see. We'll see if we're able to hold it down. If we get it... Oh, Rickety Bridge is kind of cool. Wait. There's so many cheeky lines with Galactus. So I think they retreated because they were anticipating the Doc Ock, but we were going to Spider-Man. These were going to get destroyed. Next turn, we could have gone Galactus, which is fine. They couldn't have played here, so we could have gone Galactus. It would have been a free drop, and then we play Wolverine. And so then we get the residual power in the Rickety Bridge, even though they wouldn't be able to. All right, Dream Dimension, I guess is all right. We have the wave, so go ahead and snap into them. We're going to play this as aggressively as possible. We want to get big cubes where we can and force them into a little bit of like frustrated play almost, where they feel like they can't win and they feel like they just are continuing to retreat. And then maybe they choose to stay in a game that otherwise they maybe wouldn't have. And so that is all that it takes, is those slow chips. And so I mean, it's been so many rounds. We only have them down by 4. Hell's Kitchen comes in. It doesn't draw anything for them, so they may not have anything built into their deck. That's the 1 cost slot, which would kind of support a Killmonger play. Okay, we hit their Mystique, which doesn't give any value to our Null. I think it's fine. Should be fine. Kumar Taj is kind of wild. We throw a double Electro there. A double Electro, a double Destroyer. On turn 4, we can do a double Destroyer. That's going to send Wolverine all across the board. We have Shang-Chi to lean in on. I mean, that's not terrible. That helps our Null out quite a bit and gives us the freedom. Aw, really? Never mind. It's not going to be quite as cool. It'll be fine. It's just not quite as cool. We're going to go Electro on Pant Mansion. The double trigger to be able to do Destroyer on 4 was going to be beautiful. But it's fine. It is what it is. We could do Wave, but I think we Doc Ock in the left lane. We're just gonna pull their junk in. Next turn we could potentially do Destroyer, especially if we pull a Shang-Chi from their end. So what does Iron Lad hit here? Ooh, Super Scroll. So now they can only play 1 card per turn, which is so funny. It's such a backfiring of that Super Scroll tech. And Super Scroll tech is really good in a lot of scenarios right now, but this is not one of them. The onslaught into the Blue Marvel is pretty big, though. I mean, we can Shang-Chi here. We're not going to want to do our Null because they'll copy it with the Iron Lad. We could do Destroyer, a double Destroyer to bump up our Wolverine. A Shang-Chi in this left lane, I don't think is enough, actually. We'll go ahead and retreat out of it. We'll let them have the 1. We'll play this. They're playing it slowly and cautiously. We'll play it slowly and cautiously as well. That Super Scroll, I do think, gave them that little bit of advantage. It felt like a restriction when they had the Electro, but I think in everything, once everything was said and done, it was a benefit, because then we couldn't use our Null. There goes their Super Scroll, and so our Null is now safe to drop. Hollow comes down. We do have Destroyer. We don't have either of our ramp tools yet. I mean, we have all of our 3 big bads. We have the Galactus, Null, and Destroyer. So depending on what route we end up going or what ramp tool we get, ooh, the Invisible Woman's kind of interesting. If we can get an early Destroyer, that leaves that lane open or free. But it doesn't look like we're going to get one of our ramp components, unfortunately. Ooh, we do get Electro. They don't play into Hala. They never do they? All right. Let's go Electro, and then I think we'll adjust from there. I think we're okay doing the Galactus on 5. Yeah, we have initiative. Cool. Now it doesn't matter where we do it. Here buffs this up by a bit. The only issue is we don't guarantee any value. So if they get the read right and they do a Blue Marvel here, that'll be kind of big. Actually, I'm okay giving them our stuff. We're going to do Galactus into the Machine World. I think they probably hedge and play into Hala. Oh, no, they play behind the Invisible Woman. We didn't snap into it this time around, but I think we're okay. Depending on how much Null... Ooh, and Wolverine does get destroyed twice. Ooh, that is a big Null. I don't, maybe it was the Iron Lad behind it. I don't know what it was, but that was a big null coming in at 19, and then it was going to be about 20 power in that right lane. And so they are now down to 4 after just slow, meticulous chips. Central Park, that may encourage them into a snap here, which is fine. Maybe. We would want the Galactus. We don't have the Destroyer in hand yet. We're gonna let them have it. I want to just finish this off and say, you know what, the squirrels don't matter to me, but they do. Without Destroyer in hand, they definitely matter to me. Round number 7. We're going through them really quickly. Like, these are very quick rounds. But still. Galactus is only 5 because of Titan, so we will be able to do Electro into it. Let's play Yondu into mid. We'll do Electro into mid, not wave, because I think it's going to be more of a dead giveaway if we do the wave play. Let's do Yondu. It's their Shang-Chi. Okay, so we're safe in those big plays. They won't be able to hide anything behind the Titan location. Kamartaj is big. Do we ever double Electro, knowing that we can get the Titan to trigger in this left lane? That'll give us a lot of mana on that last turn. So Galactus on 4, Doc Ock on 5. Not bad. Yeah, let's go for it. Double Mr. Sinister. But it's gonna go away. They probably have an Iron Man, I would imagine. So an Iron Man, Blue Marvel, Onslaught, all fantastic here. We do have to kind of worry about that. Let's go Galactus, get this over with. Next turn we'll go Doc Ock. And we'll see. So their 4 costs they played in the left lane. That has to be Iron Lad, I would imagine. We know that they can't hit the Shang-Chi, so that's one breath of fresh air, but the Super Scroll is a little bit scary. Okay, we can breathe a little bit easier now. Do they stay? They may stay. They may have the Super Scroll here, which would be scary against Null, but I don't think it's the worst thing either. They're not going to be able to double down on that with an Onslaught if these are their stacked ongoings. Let's see. Null's a bit of a liability. We may just do Chavez. It's 2 power less, but we don't have to worry about the Super Scroll taking anything. The Destroyer does what he does best, and he destroys, so that wouldn't be any added value. Let's go Chavez and see. Let's see what they have behind this left lane. If it's a Super Scroll, yep, we dodged it with not placing the Null. Beautiful read. They had the Null into the Onslaught, hoping we would drop out. No, they had the Super Scroll into the Onslaught, and we had the Null, but we chose to not drop it, knowing that they had that tech in their deck. And we are able to pull home in 7 rounds the first round of victory against Money himself. Just cash money. We're going to go ahead and jump into battle number 2. All right, next up we have ponies. Let's see if we can hold this one down. They do have the Infinity Avatar border, which always makes me a little bit nervous when I see, because I know how tough that was for me to grind. And so if they have 1 or 2 or however many, we know they're at least capable of winning it. Okay, so the Kitty Pryde, that does give us a little bit of information. It could be a Saratech. It could be quite a few things. Could still be bounced that they're running. We do have the Spider-Man. So if we get Wave into Galactus and Spider-Man, huge. Okay, so the Angela still could be bounce or Saratech. Asgard. I think we're going to go Electro into like a Doc Ock. The only bad thing about Doc Ock against Kitty Pryde decks, ooh, a Daredevil. This is more of a control build. Ponies. I am a big fan of Kitty Pryde into like a control heavy, so a Spider-Man, Professor X lock style deck. I think this will be tough to win, but I enjoy that. I enjoy the play. I definitely enjoy the play. Let's go Doc Ock into Atlantis. Let's go Doc Ock into Asgard. Next turn, we can try to do a Galactus as our only drop into Atlantis to get the value there. It will be turn 5, so they will get the read from Daredevil, unfortunately. They have their Kitty Pryde already. They have their Jeff. We're going to hit them with, okay, an Enchantress and then a Gamora. Wow, that is a right lane. Do we think they can stop us? They can, yeah. They can stop us every time. So this is big. Can they beat this power? I mean, they got extra cards. They could do a Spider-Man lock, a Professor X lock. But we can always do Shang-Chi here. 5, 6, 7, 8. Nah, that's not huge. I'm not going to let my hubris take control. The Gamora is huge here. Them having initiative and priority is huge here. We're going to back out. Okay, Warrior Falls is an interesting one. Because we can potentially know that it's going to be relatively clear for a Galactus line. Now, with a Galactus line, we always have to worry that they're going to have the they're going to have some valuable plays. And so whether that be a Spider-Man into the Galactus that we dropped or any number of things. We can go Wolverine over here. We can go Yondu over there. Let's start with the Wolverine, and then we'll see what we draw next turn. They have the Nightcrawler. This looks like our Meta Breaker deck, honestly. The Enchantress, I assume that there's Shang-Chi, the Gamora. This looks like the Meta Breaker deck, and that one is very solid. That is still one of my favorite decks to this day. If you haven't seen it, I covered it a couple of times. I'll leave a link to it in the description. But it's a very solid deck. What is Angela doing over there? She was floating off in space. We hit their Professor X, which is solid. Hey, actually, oh man, our hand's awful. It's not great. They do have the Daredevil, so they'll get the Daredevil read, unfortunately. Professor X isn't going to save them, but everything else might. Spider-Man lock this left lane. Let's either... I guess we could have done maybe a Doc Ock into the left lane. We're going to retreat out of this one. Stop it, ponies. We're supposed to be abusing and giving you anxiety. Not the other way around. We're down only 2 bars. We're going into round 3, but we're down 2 bars already. Could be more. Could be much worse. Let's go ahead and go with the Yondu. See what we end up... They have the Angela Kitty Pryde. So the last time I stayed, whenever they snapped, whenever not ponies, but a player snapped on turn 1, it was cloning Vats. They had Kitty Pryde, and then Shuri's Lab popped up, and so it was just abysmal. Okay, so the Spider-Man is gone. We know that that's gone. Shuri's Lab. It's fate. Last time I got absolutely bamboozled by the Shuri's Lab location. It's always possible that it happens again. We don't have Galactus yet, unfortunately. Galactus top deck here would be beautiful. No. Okay. In that case, do we go Electro into a Destroyer into like a Null? We can do Wave into Destroyer into Null Death. We have some decent reach there. We know that we just have to be protected from a Professor X play as the biggest thing that as the biggest thing. Ooh, wait, we draw Galactus. Hold up. This is enticing. Destroyer that brings this down. Null somewhere else. Death somewhere. Decently protected in all 3 lanes. But Galactus is the GOAT. Oh, no. Wait. Okay, yeah, no. No, that's bad. No, wait. What is going on? We have 8 power there? Oh, because of Xandar. If they have a Jeff, then they just win. Ah, dang, Jeff. Why don't we have Jeff built in? We have to. There's no way we can back out, right? They did this on purpose, though. Gosh, Jeff makes things so difficult. 2 cards left in their deck. 2 out of 12. So 1 out of 6. 1 out of... No. It's a tough laydown. It's a very tough laydown, you guys. But I think it was the right laydown. We shouldn't have went Galactus. Oh, man. And these snaps on turn 1, I think because they're ahead, they're getting comfortable. They're getting cocky. They know that a Galactus is a little bit tough into the control. And that always gets me as a player. That always gets like just right under that layer of skin. That it's always impeccably effective. Unfortunately, they have the Daredevil. We have the Wave. So Kitty Pryde is gone. Let's wave. Well, I guess wave into Destroyer potentially. Let's wave. We don't have Galactus, but they're not going to have any insight onto what we're doing this turn. So there's Jeff, the little baby land shark himself. Nightcrawler comes down. Maybe they throw a Professor X lock somewhere, and we just get lucky. Nope. They say it doesn't matter. They're going to go Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi is gone, though, so that is good to know in this left lane. Okay, now a Spider-Man lock here. Maybe kind of decent. Maybe kind of not, but we'll see. And they've already snapped, so what's the worst they're going to do? Snap again? Okay, so Jeff and then what? Professor X, both into Necrosha. Yeah. No matter how I look at that one, I can't find a way to win. I was so beaten down and distraught that I went into focus mode and I didn't even realize I didn't commentate this match. I just played it. And so you have after the fact TLSG here. And so the first location being Eternity Range, we are down atrociously here. Right off the bat, Ponies continues to play very aggressively, snapping on turn 1. Which is kind of getting under our skin a little bit at this point. We're trying to remain positive, but it's there. Like, the little chips in the armor are there. And so the first location being the Eternity Range, we have no ramp tool. It is looking awful. We have our Galactus, we have all of our resources, but we just don't have any way to ramp into it. And so we're just going to throw a Hail Mary Doc Ock into the rickety bridge. We could potentially hit their Professor X, their Spider-Man, drain them of those big critical resources so that maybe we can find a way to win Vibranium Mines after this turn. And so they do Spider-Man lock the Vibranium Mines. And so now, even if we happen to win the Rickety Bridge, we have to win both Eternity Range and the Rickety Bridge, which is an incredibly tough spot to be in. They do get the Shang-Chi that comes down. The Gamora, we know that is their highest power play, the 12 power. Outside of that, they're just going to be drawing into a Chavez. And so I'm pretty sure we drained them of all of their cards on that last turn. So the only thing that they have now is the Chavez. But how do we play it? Where are they fighting for? Because it's going to come down to a gut read. We can try for a Hail Mary Galactus, but they're probably going to, they've been playing very heads up this entire time. They're probably going to anticipate that. We could do Death and like an Electro, a Shang-Chi, and we can split those so that they have to commit to one or the other. If they play their card into the Rickety Bridge and they don't play another one, then we win the left lane by 7. We can win that point differential. But if they decide to stack into the Eternity Range, then splitting that power. So if they did their Chavez into the Eternity Range, just the Death is not enough to win that left lane. So it really comes down to this gut read. And it was a gut-wrenching read. But Ponies has been playing very heads up against the Galactus, so I assume that they're going to lock in a Chavez in the right lane, and they do. They play for the Rickety Bridge to make sure that we can't steal that one away for free. With the Shang-Chi, that does allow us to steal both the left and the right location, and that is the smallest break in the armor. And after that win, I realized I hadn't been talking. I was in full focus mode. I'm going to hand you off back over to past TLSG, or past TLSG? I forgot. I wasn't, oh no, I forgot that I, forgot to commentate that last round. It came down to a gut read on that last turn. I hope you guys enjoyed the voiceover. And so they snap on turn 1. They're playing awfully aggressive, which is very frustrating. But when you're playing that aggressively, it just takes like 1 or 2 small mistakes or missteps to be able to get back in the game or potentially lose the game. And so that's what I'm hoping to find here, is if we can get this second misstep in a row, that puts them down below what we are, and that would be beautiful. They lose their Gamora, we lose our wave. So not perfect, not ideal, but not the worst either. Let's go Electro in Sokovia. We can do a Doc Ock. We're not going to be able to completely restrict them, but we can do a Doc Ock to pull some of their cards. I don't know. The Doc Ock against this deck is kind of scary because they do have Shang-Chi, they do have Professor X. We're still going to go Doc Ock anyways. Then maybe we draw Galactus. Maybe we can call 1-800-Galactus. We'll see. Maybe we hit a Professor X and they lock us in this lane. Oh, they didn't play Kitty Pryde this turn. Wow. Okay, and then the Angela, this has to be small. Small. Beautiful. Beautiful ordering there. And we know that they do not have the Jeff. We killed that. They don't have space for the Jeff anyways. But beautiful, beautiful value for us. The Shang-Chi also comes down. So what do they have here? Gamora? We just destroy that into a null and a death. They don't have the Shang-Chi. They don't have the Enchantress. Ooh, Spider-Man lock. They have one card left that they top decked. There's a really good chance. I guess it's not a really good chance. It's a 1 out of 4 that it's Spider-Man. 1 out of 4 for Miles. 1 for Gamora, 1 for Daredevil. I think we have to. Otherwise, we're doing something like Galactus into a Shang-Chi and Hope on the last turn, which I don't think Hope is ever a good strategy. Let's go with Galactus in the left lane and see what they go with. If it's the Spider-Man, no, it's the Miles Morales. But by moving the Nightcrawler over, they do block us from being able to get the Galactus to trigger. And so now it comes down to that last turn gut read of, can we win? We know that they have 9 power here. Actually, we know that they draw their Chavez here, so I think they're drawing dead. Their Chavez is their last card. That's going to be 9, no matter where they play it. We have a lead of 3, so 12 plus the 3 is the 15. 9 plus the 5 is the 14. Okay, no, we're fine. I think we're fine. I don't know. We're going to play the death. We're going to play the death game and see. Oh, I was thinking it would go to a tiebreaker. But no, we won Sokovia, and so then if they didn't play for Vibranium Mines, it would have been the tiebreaker for that round, or for that lane. And so we do get ponies, and they are down to 2 now. They're playing very, very well. And I haven't done very many videos on my main account. I've been doing on my alternate account. It just feels like I get rolled on my main account. And if I don't, it feels like it's very, very back and forth, very close, gut-wrenching battles all the way through to the end. So Crimson Cosmos is decent for them. Let's do Yondu and see. We're going to Yondu and see what we hit. They have drawn a lot of their cards. Gamora is now off the table. Okay. Jeff is still a possibility. Professor X still a possibility. Some big plays at hand. Let's go Wave. Actually, we could do Wave into a Spider-Man, right? Unless they hit a Professor X, yeah. Because we could do Spider-Man here. Wait, did they move? Oh, they're planning on dropping their Miles this turn. But they can't. He's the same cost as everything else. We could do... Actually, we have initiative. Galactus into Spider-Man. They could Galactus into... Or they could Spider-Man as well. But I think we're all right. I don't think we need to overthink this one. Just go heavy in the right lane, Spider-Man to restrict them on that last turn, and then we just win from there. And they do play in the right lane here. Professor X in this scenario is not going to be enough to overcome it. Professor X and the Jeff is not going to be able to be enough to overcome this. And so I think we just got our victory against ponies. And it took a lot of concentration on one of the rounds to the point where I forgot that I was commentating. It was so bad. Let's go ahead and do this. Unless it got hit, I don't think we've had a Wakanda Dynasty or anything. Yeah, there's a Jeff. It took some very dedicated retreating, some very tough back and forth play, but we were able to get there. We were able to pull it out in the end. Ponies, phenomenal game. You did pretty much every read. You were in my head. We just got a little bit lucky on a couple of the draws. And so we are going to go ahead and jump over into battle number 3. See if we can close this out. See if we can get an infinity ticket on my main account for once. All right, for our final big bad, we have Dying Days. Now, Luke's bar is beautiful early on. We have the Electro, bounce in, bounce out. If we get a Wolverine on the board, then we can Galactus that lane worry-free and then get value there later. And we have the extra value from Superflow, and they don't. That is enough for me to snap into it. Let's go ahead and play the Electro left. That'll come back into our hand. We're going to have so much energy by the end of this thing that even if we don't get a Galactus down, I think we sit in a pretty comfortable spot. So what kind of deck are they running with the Sunspot? Sunspot Nebula. Could be the She-Hulk deck, the She-Not, where you're skipping, floating, wanting to do the extra energy. Lemuria comes down, so nobody is going to reveal anything this turn. When we do get Wolverine, and so now the next step would be to get Galactus. Wolverine, Electro. We won't be able to do Galactus into Lemuria anymore, but that's fine. Really digging for Galactus now at this point. The high Evo card, is this Wasp? What kind of high Evo card is this? And so it really shouldn't do that. That's a dead giveaway. And so how much did this won? Is it Shocker? It's kind of a shocker if so. We can do Galactus, then we can Spider-Man lock them out of it each turn after that. And we'll be fine. And so Electro will bounce back into our hand. It is a shocker. Electro will bounce back into our hand before the Galactus goes down. And so the Wolverine is going to give us that value in Luke's bar where they won't be able to position theirs. And this one should be an easy 2. Rinse and repeat is what we're looking at. We are hoping for something a little bit easier than the control deck that we faced last round. That was some stressful games, but we have the Wolverine here. Let's go ahead and we'll Spider-Man lock them on 5 going into turn 6, unless they have some way to change this or get value there or something. Even if they change it into magic, like into a limbo location, we have the Spider-Man lock that will bounce into our hand before that goes down, so then we can lock them on 5 into 6 and 6 into 7. And we do get the retreat. They didn't even want to give us any more information about their deck. But with the Shocker, I imagine maybe this is the Leech version. The Leech version that I mentioned, I think on yesterday's video, which could be pretty scary. If they get the Leech down and we don't get an early Galactus, could be very scary. Let's go Yondu and see. Yondu gets some information. Maybe we power up our Null. Maybe we get to use it. I don't know. We'll see. And so high Evo, is this Misty Knight? I didn't even see what we hit. It was 4 power. Whatever it was 4 power. So the Misty Knight is there to be able... This does look like a Moon Girl Double Down or a She-Hulk Infinite would be the version that runs Leech, which becomes kind of scary if they can get it on the board and get it to stick. And so Shocker in the Vibranium Mines is interesting unless they just have everything they need. We need a ramp component. That is not a ramp component, my friend. It's maybe one that we back out of, which is good that we're able to slow play it this early. We get the bad roll out of the way in round 2, and then next ones we're just gonna get the dream rolls. Okay, we go wave into a Galactus. We won't have initiative though. And so then it comes down to just a gut read of outplacing or outpowering what the opponent decides to do. Okay, so they have the Abomination as well. Interesting build, Dying Gaze. Could it be an Agatha deck with Shocker? Could they be running Agatha? There's a chance. But they correctly stacked 3 of the 4 into Kiln. So I don't know, I'm not sold. They snapped. How confident are we? Galactus Vibranium? Got Galactus Stark Tower. Let's go in Vibranium. Oh, we get the 50-50. Let's go. That is going to make for a massive Galactus. And we will absolutely take it. Goodness. It can't be Agatha, or else they would have played Agatha right after the wave. And so that is all human, my friend. Now it gets scary. This deck typically doesn't run counter tools. If it runs a Shang-Chi, we're in danger. We're scared. But I don't think we can do anything other than the null and see. Okay, that is a lot. That is a lot of cards. What all do you have there? Okay, the thing should be fine. Vibranium and Vibranium? Nah, no. And then Ghost Spider. Interesting that they chose to stay there. I'll take it. I will gladly take it. Okay, so Mindscape, we have the hub. Let's go ahead and do Wolverine into Mindscape. We have Wave, so if maybe we draw Galactus, perfect. If not, maybe we do some head games with like a Wave into a Destroyer, into a Shang-Chi, into their Evolved Hulk. Would be one of the highlights that I could ever imagine. And so, let's see. Lamentus is so crazily unfortunate. That is a massive null now. And a free death. Ooh. Really good options now. I think we still do Wave into Destroyer on 4. Oh no, we would have to do null on 4. Yep. So let's do Wave into null on 4, Shang-Chi, Yondu, death on 5. I like it. They can have the Destroyer. Most likely, they won't be able to get very much benefit from the Destroyer play, I would imagine. Our Shang-Chi is going to, I think, come in absolutely huge for us in swinging this before those cards switch sides. And we're going to leave them with just these two. Just Destroyer and just Armor. And so they're not going to be in a great spot. The Wasp comes down, that's perfectly fine. We don't have the Galactus, but they don't know that. And so they're going to have to kind of hedge their bets. I think we just... Nah, let's null in the left lane. It's a massive null, you guys. Ooh, they play for mid. Interesting. They play it for with the thing. They don't go Evolved Hulk. They don't go anything crazy. Wild. Maybe they were saving it because they thought we were going to Galactus? I don't know. I don't know. I can't even begin to imagine. We now have initiative. Let's do this. That gets the Shang-Chi out of our hand. Death temporarily gives us the lead in Mindscape. I think we're okay for the 2. Okay. They're not even gonna give us the pleasure of seeing what's in their hand. Which is interesting. Oh no, we get the full retreat. All right. Just like that, we are done with the Infinity Gauntlet. I'll let you guys see this ticket this time around, because last video ended very abruptly. And so we grab another Infinity ticket. There were some good matches along the way. We were just able to make it a little bit tougher for them to drop those cards and play them efficiently. We got a little bit lucky here and there, but we will take luck every once in a while. And so I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to give it a like and a comment down below. And if you're not subscribed, make sure that you subscribed. Thank you guys as always for being here. This has been TLSG. Later, guys.